Your past experiences are valuable lessons to you now. Learn from them. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Xaereth Prevails. Folks, I want to talk a little bit about the 3v3 season. I know we're all kind of ramping up for 5v5, but this is a thing that I need to get out now so that it's fresh in my mind. Hey, this is something you can refer to when it's time to come back to 3v3 as well. Just remember that it's here, and as an alternate suggestion, there's also in the video description, I'm going to link the one that I came up with for 5v5 last season, so you guys can review that if you want. It's only like 10 minutes, and we're going to try to keep this one as short, but I have 5 things I want to talk about with 3v3, and you guys can check it out. So let's get some B-reel footage going. Remember, guys, to hit that like button, and we're trying to mount the algorithm, so make comments, etc. Hit the sub button if you haven't yet, would really appreciate it. And let's start moving, folks. Let's do it to it, as they say. I say it, at least. Maybe it's just one, maybe it's not plural, but number 1, efficiency play in 3v3 is the way to beat me. Now, I hate to admit this is like my kryptonite. If someone saves all 6 of their Galactic Legends and all of their really good teams, a lot of times I will take chances. People can bait me into taking chances with teams if I don't know what's in their back zone, and if I take a chance, then I can lose. The other way to do it is if you put your X and Flex team, like Executor and Flex team, out there, and like we both have great ground efficiency, there's just a chance that you beat me on efficiency in fleets. Like it drives me crazy, but all you have to do is there's too much RNG involved with the counter to Executor right now, and if you place your Executor against me, then if we could just do the malevolence lottery, and hopefully I win because I want to win, but sometimes that just works. So efficiency play, everyone who placed 2 Galactic Legends or more against me, I think maybe there was one I wasn't prepared for, but that was my own foolishness. Everyone else failed to clear me for the most. I don't think anyone who placed 2 Galactic Legends cleared me. So unfortunately, play efficiency play against me, and you have a good chance to beating me. Hate to admit it, but I think that's the case for a lot of really good players out there. Number 2, I learned this season, and I don't know if I learned it exactly. This is kind of a cocky one, folks, honestly, but it's something that it's very important to me, is I don't just pummel people who are, a little less skilled than me, a little less, I don't just go in and destroy them, but then lose my tough matches. My tough matches, for the most part, as long as I have time to prepare, I give everyone a run for their money. I faced 2 really, really good opponents this season. Solo Base 15, who I lost to by 1 banner, and then I faced one of the best players in the whole game, which is iPenguin, and I was able to beat him, in a couple different ways, but the biggest way was I out-schemed him. He didn't use his Galactic Legends as well as I used mine, and you guys can go watch the recap. That's the final match of the 3v3 season. Really epic fight against Solo. Again, as you guys know, it was super epic as well. Really nice confidence booster for me. I've had a lot of really high-end wins against good players, so I'm not saying that I am just hopeless against these guys, but it is very nice to have that reestablished just this one season recently. Number 3, Galactic Legends are more important than ever. We already had almost no teams that could counter off meta in 3v3, but now that they've nerfed a lot of different characters, we just can't counter anything with off meta. All Galactic Legends, you typically need to use your own Galactic Legend unless your opponent is colossally stupid, which we've seen a couple times recently, especially in Gambit Fight Night. We had one guy who placed 5 Galactic Legends against our guest, and our guest is well, I guess I only have 4 Galactic Legends to attack with, so I guess we'll just go in and use this random hodgepodge team. And the opponent placed the exact Jedi Master Luke team that you could do that against, and it was colossally stupid because he got one shot and lost. It's quite hilarious. So Otherwise, like, it's very, very difficult to beat any Galactic Legend with one shot with an off-meta team. Hopefully that changes once we get Starkiller, but until then, we just don't know. Galactic Legends are just ridiculously important, and it's going to be a point of extreme pressure for a lot of accounts to make sure they have the Galactic Legend advantage, or at least have parity with their opponents in that. Number 4, General Grievous. This is kind of a nuanced one, guys. There's a lot of different things, but General Grievous is really easy to counter for high-end accounts. I have about 1 million counters to him in 3v3, but that's for high-end accounts. My alt has to use like Jedi Revan to be able to beat General Grievous. Like it's not tough with Jedi Revan, but Jedi Revan is also one of the most flexible, amazing teams in the game in 3v3, and so not being able, like, having to use it on General Grievous is actually pretty tough. So it's kind of like the Grievous value goes way down as the GP increases. But it's just something to note. General Grievous is great early on, and later game not as much. Finally, we have Armor Shred as one of the best abilities in the game, folks, at least in 3v3. I don't know if it's in the game, but especially now that we are seeing a lot of we're seeing a lot of teams not being able to use like Watt to be able to ignore armor. All these different nerfs, they buffed defense, all this stuff, and that's fine. But the thing that you need to note is that Armor Shred, it will eventually just negate all the armor. And so if you have a team that can actually just kind of ignore that mechanic, the defense mechanic over time, and if that team is resilient enough, you guys saw Thridian, and I'll probably make a video on Thridian start of the next season, just so everyone remembers how it works. But I mean, it doesn't have any hard hitters. It has Grief, so that it keeps, or not, it's not Grief, Gideon. It has Gideon, so that it keeps your opponent's offense low. It has Thrawn, so you can fracture 1/3 of your opponent's team. And it has Stormtrooper, who can taunt, who can do all kinds of fun things with Gideon, which, I'll talk about in the video. But when you do that, when you can just negate an entire team with your own team, it can really pay off. It's really quite fancy. So just something to think about, guys. Armor Shred, as long as you live long enough, you can just get rid of their armor, and then even Thrawn and Gideon and Stormtrooper can combine to kill teams that have a huge amount of hit points or armor or both, because you're too thick for them to hurt. And you can have the control to reduce turn meter when you want to reduce their to be able to get all the different things, reduce their ability to move with fracture, to all that stuff. As long as you can put all of that together, all of that control together, eventually that Armor Shred is going to overwhelm them, and you're going to be able to take them out. So that's it, folks. Just 5, and it looks like this is even going to be under 10 minutes, which is fantastic. I hope. What did you learn from 3v3, folks? I would be interested to know. I'm going to be linking the 5v5 video in the video description, and you guys can check that out. I don't even remember what I did. I'm gonna have to watch it myself, but I'll try to link this one. We can keep playing catch up, folks. This is going to be here for next 3v3 season. Hopefully you guys learned a lot too. Tell me in the comments what you learned. Would love to hear it, and we can all use this as knowledge going into the next 3v3. Thank you all so much for watching, and remember that in all things, Xaereth prevails.